Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of Cardano's ADA, taking a look at the most recent price action and what I think is likely to happen next. If you find it useful, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new, why not subscribe? And check out Discord as well, linked in the description below. Let's jump right down into this video and take a look at what's going on here when it comes to Cardano's ADA. Okay, so here we have our Cardano ADA paired up with USDT. On the 1 hour chart, Binance is our data source. And from here, we can see we actually have a bit of a V bottom going on as well, right? So let me just grab a couple of trend lines just to show you right in here. Okay, this is usually pretty positive. Okay, it's bearish under a kind of cup and handle scenario. If you can't have a V bottom with a cup and handle, but you can have a V bottom here, shows you that there's a huge amount of demand right in this low range. So that's looking pretty good. It's positive. But unfortunately, all good things do come with some negative, right? There's always a flip to that, or another side to that coin, right? From the other side. And ultimately, what we're looking at here is now resistance. We've pushed up quite a bit, and we are finding ourselves up in a pocket of a resistance range. So we've moved up 5.82% in the last few hours. I don't know how many hours that is. Let's actually just go work that out. It's about 2 days, 22 hours. Okay, so we've moved up reasonably well, but we do find ourselves now hitting this upper area of resistance right in here. Okay, although we do have a weak high, and we can, of course, rally higher if we wanted to. That is courtesy of that change of characteristic to a bullish state of play. We need to acknowledge that a couple of fair value gaps were left behind. This one down here, and this one over here. So on the low side, what we have is fair value gap down at 35.9 through to 36.3. And then on the slightly higher side, 36.7 through to 37.1. Okay, so we know that there's a bit of a requirement. I say a bit of a requirement. It's not a guarantee that you move down, but there's a probability here that we do move down and we do grab these fair value gaps. Now, at the moment, we're above the 50 and 200 EMA and above the equilibrium. So ADA does find itself in a really strong position, and that's a positive, right? We don't want to take away from that. We just need to see nice, healthy correction. Ultimately, our structure to the upside here does look pretty interesting to me. It looks like we might have a bit of a, how do I articulate this, a zigzag pattern, meaning that we can potentially still push up slightly higher if we needed to. At the same time as that, though, I am very aware that we need to see corrections at some point here. Okay, we're overbought on our daily, 8 hour, 4 hour, and 1 hour, meaning that momentum is going to start running out of juice to keep going to the upside. And so we are going to start seeing a turn in the market. Now, obviously, the stochastic RSI is not an indication as to kind of price, and so kind of price saying it's reached its upper limit. It's just an indication that actually volume profiles are changing within the price movements, and therefore we understand that as a potential shift coming in further down the line. Now, if I turn that off and throw on our volume indicator here, you can see that the initial volumes taking us up here were really significant. Then they dropped all the way down here, and volumes are still dropping as we continue to push the price upwards. This is not a good sign. So price pushing up whilst volumes dropping down, those things are basically telling us that there's a turn in the market, it's a divergence. So we want to be a little bit aware of that. So on our smart money concepts, we are in a bullish market at the moment for Cardano ADA on the 1 hour chart. But I'm expecting a bit of a pullback here more towards the fair value gaps. Equilibrium will be an interesting point to test as well. That's coming in at 37.3 to 37.4. Moving down into our Elliott wave theory chart, we can see that we have an ABC structure where we hit the target range just up here, barely touched it, to be honest with you, and then we start to see this move to the downside. Now, it's still possible that that C wave is still in play, and realistically what you've got going on is a move like this, right? And we're going to actually be testing the upper range of this this range that we had marked out before, right, which was 38.6 to 39.46. However, like I said, I don't think the momentum really sits behind it. Now, from a divergence indicator, is there anything to kind of be alarmed with? Not right now. It's all looking okay from that point of view. So from an RSI and price action wise, we're not seeing divergence there, hidden or bullish divergence, or bearish hidden divergence or anything like that. So we're not too concerned there, but I am concerned about the volume profiles, and the RSI is quite high as well as our stochastic RSI. So I am looking for reversal here. I'm thinking we're probably not going to have this play out where we see a bigger C wave structure to the upside, although it's possible. I just don't think it's probable at this point in time. I think that Cardano ADA is actually about to have a bit of a turn in the market, but there is something really interesting potentially going on within this little area here. And that might be that we have ourselves a really interesting flat correction potentially, or something to that effect right up in this higher range. Or we have ourselves a really truncated zigzag pattern. Let me show you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, diagonal for the fifth to the end, right? We then have a correction. I'm just going to do this as a simple 3-wave correction right in here. Okay, we have a 3-wave correction, and then we have a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be really, really awful to see, and you know, to see a truncated zigzag like that. But the other thing that could happen here is that we have a nice 3-wave correction come down, test that for 200 EMA, right? And then we start to see a move back up like this, and another move coming on down, and then finally we finish that off with the 5-wave structure there, and then you end up with this impulsive structure right at the end. And again, if we do that, we'll be looking at either a zigzag or a potential bigger impulsion on Cardano ADA. So a few things to kind of consider within the kind of recent structures here. I think it's a tad too soon to be 100% sure of what ones of those is going to play out. It'll be interesting to kind of see how that kind of develops over time. So I'm not going to trade this one. I think this is kind of something that we kind of wait for the data to kind of tell us which direction things are going to go in, and then take it from there. At the moment, I just don't think it's worth diving into that too much detail. Moving over into slightly large time frames, such as a daily time frame, you can see here that we are not really doing overly too much impressive price action here, and so ultimately we're looking at this thinking, actually we're probably going to find upper resistance and then move on down. Okay, so we are looking at this as a 3-wave correction. Now that's okay, it's not too bad. It's not kind of giving me the idea that we are having to kind of go down in a bigger impulsion just yet. It's possible, of course, but not something that I'm too concerned with. We had a great move to the upside here. We're just looking for natural, healthy corrections to come down before maybe moving on up again. Like I said, though, we're heavily overbought, so we are a little bit concerned about that. Our weekly time frame is not oversold, nor is it overbought, and still has potential to the downside. And our monthly is progressing upwards without really doing too much in the way of price action. So should be a little bit concerned about the bigger macro stuff, but for now, I think on the smaller time frames, yeah, there's going to be some opportunities, I think, coming, but just not right at this particular moment in time as we kind of find the upper resistance here for Cardano's ADA. I'm going to leave this video right there, though, guys. If you have found it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and guys, we'll catch you all in the next one.